Wake up, turn and here we go. We got stories we wanna show. True crimes tales that'll blow your mind. Missing pieces you will find. Daily news and what to chat. From mysteries to this and that. Every twist and turn we see. Come along, join the spree. Chit Chat Daily, hear the beat. Got your topics, can't be beat. True crime news and more to say. Chit Chat Daily, come your way. Sit back, relax, it's time to start. Adventure and tales to fill your heart. Whodunit cases, breaking news. Get the facts without the blues. From the headline to the unsolved, every mystery gets involved. Listen now, don't miss a thing. Join and tune in, hear us sing. Chit Chat Daily, hear the beat. Got your topics, can't be beat. True crime news and more to say. Chit Chat Daily, come your way. Chit Chat Daily, hear the beat. Got your topics, can't be beat. True crime news and more to say. Chit Chat Daily, come your way. Sit back, relax, it's time to start. Adventure and tales to fill your heart. Whodunit cases, breaking news. Get the facts without the blues. From the headline to the unsolved, every mystery gets involved. Listen now, don't miss a thing. Join and tune in, hear us sing. Chit Chat Daily, hear the beat. Got your topics, can't be beat. True crime news and more to say. Chit Chat Daily, come your way. Chit Chat Daily, hear the beat. Got your topics, can't be beat. True crime news and more to say. Chit Chat Daily, come your way.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hope everybody is having a good evening. Hope you can hear me okay. Anyways, I wanted to do a little something tonight for remembering the IDAHO4. I have a couple different things. Last night, News Nation did an interview with, oh my goodness, I can't even think of his name, from TMZ, Levin. Anyways, the main guy on TMZ. And I wanted to kind of do a recap of that. But before we get into that, I wanted to share with you a video I put together in remembrance of the IDAHO4. And so we will play that now. Give me just a second here.
We're Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. So loud as the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlights, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay young forever, we'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat.
Okay. So I kind of threw that video together today. I don't have actual music set to the background yet. That was just music I have here on StreamYard, a couple songs I downloaded, but I will have that video finished probably by tomorrow with the actual music behind it, and I'll get that posted. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you. But anyways, I saw a video last night on TMZ, or on News Nation. They did an interview with TMZ, and I wanted to share that with you guys and maybe do a little commentary. I was just kind of intrigued on different theories of the IDAHO4 case. This case is pretty near to me. So the IDAHO4 happened in Moscow, Idaho, and I'm about 30 miles away from Moscow. So it was kind of a a big case around in our neck of the woods. But yeah, and I've talked to lots of people on, you know, their theories and everything. Of course, I've had my theories, and everything is speculation. And well, I better get that ticker up there. But just my thoughts, my theories. Nothing, you know, is factual unless you hear it from law enforcement themselves. You know, so take it with a grain of salt on, you know, what anybody and everybody thinks of right now. And so yeah, let's check this video out.
One of the best conversations that I have had in a long time about what happened at 1122 King Road in Idaho a year and a half ago was with Harvey Levin of TMZ fame. Harvey's a lawyer, and he has a long, long history of covering crime and justice. So imagine my surprise when he raised doubts about whether Bryan Kohberger could have pulled off that quadruple murder all by himself. He is not entirely convinced.
Okay, so his first name is Harvey. I couldn't remember it for the life of me, but okay, Harvey. That's right. All right, let's get back into it.
That a guy with no history of violent crime went floor to floor in a big house and killed 4 young people with only one knife. And Harvey says a jury might have a problem with that too.
Well, look, I mean, there is a lot of evidence here that links Bryan Kohberger to this crime. That said, I just do find it weird. And this is not to say that he did or didn't do it. But Ashley, somebody who has never committed a murder or, as far as we know, even a violent crime, going to a house that has 3 levels, 6 people inside and a dog, where he would go up to the 3rd floor, kill 2 people, go down to the 2nd floor, kill 2 more, knowing that there are other people in the house. And the only thing he's armed with is a knife.
I mean, really, think about that. Who thinks, put in the comments or chat, who thinks that he did this all on his own? Or do you think maybe he had accomplices with him? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. All right, let's keep watching.
That with 6 people, never having committed a crime before, knowing that one of the people in the house is a guy who's much more athletic, bigger than him, who could have heard a scream when he killed the first 2 people, and he could have overpowered him. It's a little weird, don't you think?
Well, I was going to say you missed your calling as a defense attorney, but you didn't, because TMZ is really, really popular and successful. So you're doing just fine. But I will say this. I have a theory, Harvey Levin, and that is this. If he's guilty, and I have to preface, if he's guilty of this crime, he showed up thinking there'd be 5 girls. And he didn't expect a boy to be sleeping over, a very big boy, Ethan Chapin. And
think about that, though. Anybody who knew of this house, I mean, it was a big party house, right? And pretty much everybody that they knew, I mean, Ethan was probably there at that house quite often, if you ask me. And if it was somebody who didn't know maybe of Ethan or Xana, that, you know, Xana would often have Ethan over. And I'm not saying that he was there all the time, but I would assume, because, you know, the 2 of them, they were an item, you know, they were dating. So what makes you think that Ethan wouldn't be there all the time? That's just my theory. So anybody that would know them would know, most likely, that Ethan would be with Xana. I mean, they were seen together earlier in the night, right? at the frat party. And, you know, I've heard that there was a fight that night also at the frat party. So it's just so many different things to think about, right? Okay, let's continue.
And maybe, just maybe, that stunned him. He was overwhelmed and the battle became pitched. And that was enough for him to say, after the third victim, and then suddenly a very large fourth victim, that he needed to get out of there. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I hear you. But I do think that he knew that Ethan was around that house a lot because he had stalked the house, if you believe the prosecutors, that they have numerous, they have evidence that he had gone there numerous times. And
did Ethan have a car? Did Xana have a car? I don't remember, but did Ethan have a car? Right?
Just watched the house. So it sounds like he knew the lay of the land inside, which means he knew who was there. And Ethan's girlfriend was there, which is why he was there. And he slept over. So I don't know that he'd be oblivious to Ethan being there. But, you know, again, even if Ethan wasn't there, when he does this to the first person, you would assume there would be screams and that other people would wake up and see him. And unless he planned on taking everybody out of the house, somebody's going to ID this guy and it's game over. So look, again, I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying the circumstances are boldly weird here, that he would think
Boldly weird.
get away with
Yes.
this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have always thought this, like, if he's guilty, how is it that a PhD student in criminology could think that you could pull it off? But for the fact it's a party house, and maybe that was the equation. Any of the screaming is going to be written off as partying. And as it turns out, from some of the early affidavits, Dylan Mortensen said that she heard Kaylee, it sounded like she was playing with her dog. Likely she was being murdered.
So that makes me question, it could have been Kaylee's dog, but maybe her dog was going crazy because there was something not right going on upstairs. Of course, you know, he's going to be jumping around and probably freaking out, and it might just sound like, you know, Kaylee was playing with him.
And then she heard Xana whimpering and someone saying, you know, it's okay, I'm here to help. And that Dylan didn't think anything of it because it's a party house and it's so noisy.
Well, okay, but it was also 4:30 in the morning when this happened. And usually that's not when the party is at high pitch. And secondly, I think he knew they were sleeping. I don't think he would have gone in the house if he thought everybody was awake roaming around. So I think he went in knowing it was quiet. And I'm not so much talking about the neighbors as I'm talking about people.
Sorry, I keep pausing it. But if the perpetrator was potentially parked behind the house, so behind the house would face Maddie's bedroom window. And so I'm wondering, you know, they said that Xana had gotten a DoorDash delivery, which would be another light that would be coming in through the sliding glass door on that middle floor they're calling the second floor, which is on the back of the house also. So if there was a perpetrator sitting in their car on that back road behind the house, they could easily see Maddie's bedroom window and the sliding glass door window. And I don't know, in my opinion, if Xana got that DoorDash delivery and maybe she had turned the light off on that middle floor and Maddie had her light on, which would make sense. It would be just right after the DoorDash delivery was delivered, right? So they said that they seen, you know, food bags in the kitchen on the counter. And I think there was a receipt for that night. So maybe she went into the kitchen, set the bag down and then took her food to her bedroom, potentially, maybe, in my opinion, and then closed her door. And then that would get rid of that light on that middle floor, that second floor that they're calling, the floor that the kitchen is on. And I think whoever it was went in through that sliding glass door. And if that's the case, there's 2 floors right there that you could easily see the lights go out. And that to me makes sense. If Xana got her food order, went to the kitchen, grabbed a plate, whatever, whatever she needed, and went back to her bedroom. And then maybe Maddie had her light off already, but the perpetrator had still seen a light on through that sliding glass door. And the minute that light went out, that's when whoever made their way to the back entrance in that sliding glass door. And then and the thing is, you could see the layout of that house easily on Zillow. It wouldn't take rocket science to know your way around in a house you had never been in before. In my opinion, I'm sure whoever it was maybe studied the layout. And then maybe coming down the stairs, maybe there was a light on closer to Xana's room, and maybe that's why the perpetrator went that way. And then, did what I'm not even going to say, but you all know this case, I'm assuming. And these are just my thoughts, it's my opinions and what I think. And so don't take anything I say as truth. It's just my opinion. And unless you hear it from law enforcement, right? We don't know anything. So
in the house, unless he felt he could take out 6 people, that there was a huge risk that the first person would scream loud enough that everybody else would wake up. They would ID him, even if they didn't overpower him, and they would know exactly who it is. They'd give the description to the police and be arrested in 12 hours. So, I just don't buy the party house theory, even though it was a party house.
The DoorDash part is so perplexing, because that DoorDash was on the back door or the front door, I'm not even sure which, at 4:00 in the morning. And the perp, be it Kohberger or someone else, depending, was within minutes of that. It's astounding they didn't cross paths or at least see each other. Or maybe that was the opportunity, again, if he's guilty, that Kohberger saw as a chance to be in the house where nobody would suspect an odd guy walking through the house because DoorDash was there.
That's true too. And look, and I understand that. I don't want to just focus on this, Ashley, because there's a lot of evidence here. I mean, the DNA on the knife sheath, just the fact that he had said that he was hanging around that area because he liked looking at stars, even though it was cloudy, and he put himself right by the scene of the crime. In addition to, taking his cell phone with him, turning it on and off, as opposed to leaving it at home when it's on. I mean, that's kind of a basic thing, especially if you're studying criminal justice. So, he screwed up a lot if he did it, but there's a lot of evidence that he did.
I mean, those are 2 massive rookie moves, right? Taking your cell phone with you and thinking you're smart enough that turning it off once you're driving. Yeah. And then number 2, leaving the knife sheath behind. Because as we have come to understand, the murders on the 3rd floor happened first and the knife sheath was up there. So he would have been leaving the house without the knife sheath, and he left again, if he's guilty, the first murders, he left the sheath behind. So real rookie move. And let's talk a little more about that theory of yours about going 0 to 60 in your first murder, that it's very, very unlikely. In your special, in Strange and Suspicious, you do have some experts who actually say, maybe it's
not. Who's saying it's his first crime like this? Maybe potentially against whom it was, right? People, right? There's when I was younger, I wanted to study psychology and how people's brains work, but If you think about it, there are a lot of cases of people like this that start off doing other things and it kind of escalates. Just because it's a crime like this doesn't make it any less serious, say maybe with animals or, in anything like along those lines, in my opinion, anyway,
Not that weird. Maybe somebody can go from 0 to 60 because spree killers do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And by the way, it's not a special. This is actually a series that's on the Fox stations around the country in the big markets. It's Monday through Friday. So
This
how about
episode,
that?
yeah.
Yes, we had people. We have like LAPD, retired cop, private investigators, and others who said what you said, which is it is not necessarily unusual where people can create fantasies and then act out on the fantasy. That's true. Where I come from is this. My dad owned a liquor store, and I worked in the store when I was a kid. And I remember we used to have a lot of people coming in stealing things, stealing Playboy, stealing candy. And I remember talking to my dad about it. And we would talk about the fact that people who come in and they steal Playboys and steal candy and whatnot, that they keep graduating upward. And eventually some of them end up robbing banks. This would be like somebody robbing a bank in their first outing and skipping my dad's liquor store. And for some reason, the liquor store metaphor always has stuck with me.
Yep.
And it's odd to me that somebody would commit a crime of this magnitude with this many people, thinking that they could do it with just a knife in the middle of the night with a 3-level house. That's pretty damn bold. Even if you have fantasies, I'm not sure if somebody is smart, and he is smart, would say, I'm going to act on this fantasy because I think I can pull it off. It feels improbable.
Yeah, I mean, this is Capote level violence. And I always like to say there are a lot of smart criminals out there, and they always think they're smarter than all of the crime solvers. And typically they're not. One last quick question for you, Harvey Levin, because you know how much I adore you and I also admire you. You've got such a great body of work as well as your background in law. What's your over under on this? What do you think is actually going to happen? I know the theories we've espoused here, but what do you really think is going to happen in Idaho?
Well, I mean, look, there is a lot of evidence linking this guy to crime. So I haven't heard all of it, but when you look at the knife sheath, when you look at the DNA, when you look at the cell phone, when you look at him even acknowledging that he was around there where you've got him essentially stalking that place, there is a lot of evidence here that could definitely convince a jury to convict this guy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm going to do you a big solid here. It is called Strange and Suspicious. It's airing now, weekdays on Fox. And this particular episode is the one on Bryan Kohberger. You had me at hello, but you always do. I'm going to call you back and we'll talk about Kohberger as it gets underway. Thanks, Harvey.
I love talking to you, Ashley.
Okay, guys, what do you think? I kind of like Harvey's theory on things. But I am kind of on the wall about Kohberger actually doing it by himself. I have theories, but I'm not throwing names out there. Like I said earlier, I'm from the area. I'm only about 30 miles away from Moscow, Idaho. So when they're talking about streets and back roads and all of that, I know exactly where they're talking about. I've driven on the roads, and earlier on in the case when they were talking about Johnson Road, I've been all over in Johnson Road. I used to live right around in that area, and for some reason I remember when they were talking about the route that supposedly, allegedly Kohberger had driven that night after the fact, and that he had driven on Johnson Road, and he had been you know, like not being able to be detected until, you know, later on that morning. And it just, and then I heard something about him possibly having connections with property on Johnson Road. And the first thing I had thought about was, did he get rid of evidence, say maybe the K-bar and maybe some clothing on some sort of property out there on Johnson Road? Because for the life of me, I remember early on in the case hearing something about Johnson Road and him having connections out there. So I've stuck with that. I've stuck with that theory. And they still haven't found anything. You know, they haven't found the K-bar. I guess as far as we know, because, you know, they've got everything hush hush now, sealed, but pretty sure they haven't found it yet. But gosh, for something's just telling me, you know, something about Johnson Road and that K-bar knife. I just have this gut feeling, and my gut feeling is pretty darn good sometimes. You know, I'm kind of like a mass empath. So I get these weird feelings that just won't go away. And I just can't shake that feeling about Johnson Road for some reason. But I have an article. Let's see here. Oh, we'll jump back. We'll go into this other video. Court TV have put out a video. Oh my goodness, when was this? It's Court TV did a interview, something with the author that has been in the news lately. That the book is recently out. Let me jump back here. We'll just watch the video. Let me grab it really quick for you guys. Okay, let's watch this one here.
Welcome back. This morning, we're shining a spotlight on the Idaho student murders case. And defendant Bryan Kohberger, who's now got a trial date, June 2nd of 2025. He's the man suspected of murdering those 4 beautiful University of Idaho students. And he appeared in court on Thursday. The judge set that trial date for him, blocked out 2 weeks just to do the jury selection and 3 whole months for the trial. Now, both sides agreed on that date, no objections to it. Let's listen to what Kohberger's attorney had to say.
Your Honor, first, I know the court has listed this as taking place in Latah County. We haven't been heard on our change of venue yet. That's to come in August. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm agreeing to.
Did you all hear that Kohberger's attorney had resigned? She actually hasn't resigned. She's going to stay on with Kohberger's case. She's just going to the main, they have a main office now. So that's what it is. She's going to stay on with Kohberger's case as of right now, anyway.
Latah County is all. The June of 2025, that's the time frame that we have been working towards. I am hopeful that we can come in there. We're working towards that date. I think it's reasonable to set that date.
Now, there are a lot of eyes on this case, of course, and lots of theories about what happened in that home where Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were murdered. There's even a brand new book about it, and the author has a different theory about why those murders occurred. I'm so pleased to welcome him in now on the show. Author Howard Bloom is joining us. He wrote the book I have in my hands here, When the Night Comes Falling. Howard, good morning to you, and welcome. Could we start, please, with your background? You have a really impressive background. Talk a little bit about it. Tell our viewers, and then tell us kind of why you were drawn to this case.
Well, I was an investigative reporter at the New York Times for over a decade. I was nominated for 2 Pulitzers at the paper. I then went on to at Vanity Fair, was a contributing editor for at least 20 years. I've written 16 books, many of them bestsellers. Why was I drawn to this case? I was drawn to this case almost by accident. We started discussing it around the Thanksgiving table just about a week after the murders occurred. And it was such a perplexing mystery that I thought, well, this would be sort of exciting to try to put on my old investigator's trench coat, go out to Idaho, and see if I could try to put the details of this case together. And I made a call to Graydon Carter, who has Airmail magazine, and he said, sure, go for us. And I went out there and I started knocking on doors and speaking to people. And this was fortunately in the early days before there was a gag order. I was able to establish some relationships that held in place for the next 18 months as I sat down and researched and wrote.
Sure. Really doing what you do best, Howard. So in the book, you write that you believe that one of the roommates was the target. Talk to us about that, please.
Sure. First, we should state for the record that the prosecution and the defense have stated categorically that there was no interaction between the suspect, Bryan Kohberger, and any of the victims, either in person or in social media. That's what they say for the record. I think the reality is a little subtler. On the night of the murders, the suspect enters through the kitchen door on the 2nd floor of the house. There are 2 bedrooms on either side. He could have gone into either of those bedrooms if he was just on a murder spree. However, he goes up the stairs to the 3rd floor and enters the bedroom of Maddie Mogan. He finds in that bedroom, Kaylee is there too. She's just come in for the weekend to show off her new car. I believe he didn't expect to see her there. He is obsessed, I believe, with Maddie. Did he ever speak with her? Did he meet her when she was a waitress at the Mad Greek restaurant where he went to at times because of the vegetarian or vegan food there? I think that's what happened. He saw her. He was a man who obsessions come easily to him. He was a heroin addict. He's a man who decided to reinvent himself. He lost 125 pounds, turned his body into a fortress. For whatever reason about Maddie, as you show her picture there, her exuberance, her blonde good looks, her vivaciousness, she captivated him. And I think he felt ultimately that the world was just too an impossible place for him to exist.
What really gets me is Bryan Kohberger's own family actually wondered if it was him that committed the murders. To me, that alone right there speaks volumes, right? Why would your own family think that? That's just kind of weird to me. Yeah, and his own sister even stated, she thought right off the bat that she thought it was her own brother. So again, that's just really, really weird to me.
There were such people in it, and he was not part of what was happening. There have been many police body cam videos shown of the parties that the young students gave, and I think he witnessed those events from the outside. He was on the periphery of those events, and that was a constant rebuke to him, and he focused on Maddie, and everyone else in that grim, horrible night was really just collateral damage.
Wow. It's an interesting theory, Howard. It really is. And who knows, maybe at the time of trial, we'll see the prosecution lay out something similar. Perhaps there was one intended target and then things spun out of control. If Bryan Kohberger is the killer, obviously cloaked in the presumption of innocence legally. Tell me, Howard, how much of your book is fact? How much of it is fiction?
All of the book is fact. At several points in the book, I theorize about what people are saying or thinking. But the basic elements, the police procedurals, how the killer is caught, the background of the young students, and I also want to say the subtitle of the book is A Requiem for the Idaho Student Murders. And this book is meant to show these young students' lives, to show what they might have been. I want it to be a poignant and affecting portrait, as well as a suspenseful drama.
I can't wait to read it. Howard Bloom, again, When the Night Comes Falling. This is the book right here. I have it in my hands. Going to do some weekend reading with this one. Thank you so.
So yeah, what do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Do you think that Kohberger potentially, if it is him, allegedly, in your own opinion, could he have done this on his own? Or do you think that there was an accomplice or more? To me, I'm going more towards more than just him. I think maybe he was just the getaway, you know, seriously, or the drop off, one of the two. Or maybe he saw something happening and, you know, sensing how there were, 12 other times that his GPS had pinged in the area of the house. You know, we know, literally, we know absolutely nothing still at this point. It's all speculation with the gag order. And I don't know about you, but it makes my brain go just kind of crazy. You know, I want to know. And, you know, like I said, again, this case is literally right down the road from me. And I want justice for these kids, you know, and their families. And I have kids, you know, their age. And it just, I can't even fathom. Nope, I can't. It just, so anyways, guys, I think I am going to end it here. I will have the links to these two videos in the description of this video. And that way you can go back and watch them again if you want. Yeah, it's just a puzzling case. So this time next year, they're going for the trial. So we have a year to wait. Who knows what else they'll come up with, or even release to us. But if there are any updates, I will be sure to drop them for you guys. And that way you are up to date also. All right, guys, I'm going to end it here. And hit that like button on your way out. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. And a big old shout out to Allegedly with Brittany J. She gave me a shout out today, and I appreciate that. And everybody who subbed to my channel today, I love it. Thank you so much. It's so greatly appreciated. So go over and sub to her channel also, Allegedly with Brittany J. And then she has another channel, and I can't think of it off the top of my head at the moment, but I can drop it in the description also, a link to it. But okay, guys, thank you for watching, and we will chat again soon. Bye.